clear. We know Elon Musk has said he wants Tim Scott from Florida. They want to get some people in who really will be behind Trump. Majority Leader, who would you like to see fill this role, Senator Blackburn?
Bianca, we're going to have a forum tonight, and I have my questions, and I've already reached out to Rick Scott and looking forward to having a conversation with him. What we need is a leader who is going to say the imperative is to get Donald Trump's agenda across the finish line and signed into law. Mm-hmm. And we should work diligently. We should work quickly on that. Yeah. So I'm going to say who has a game plan and is ready to put that game plan in place. That is exactly what we need to have happen.
Well, what we also see happening is Senator Marco Rubio of Florida expected to become Secretary of State. We know J.D. Vance will be obviously needing to fill his role there in the Senate. Where do you think that these positions, who should be the next position there? I mean, any names or any thoughts on this?
Yes, indeed. I'm already on record supporting Vivek Ramaswamy in Ohio. I've said it in Tennessee. I've said it in Ohio when I was out campaigning with Bernie Moreno. I think Vivek would be wonderful. In Florida, I like the idea of Laura Trump, who did a superb job this last year in working with the RNC, making certain that people got out to the polls early and that they voted. I think she would be a fabulous senator for the state of Florida.
And we know loyalty wouldn't be a question there whatsoever. You know, Donald Trump made history with Susie Wiles, shattering, obviously, Mark Cuban's ridiculous comments about strong, smart women, which you, of course, are part of this strong, smart, conservative movement here. You heard, obviously, Kristi Noem, South Dakota governor, may be Department of Homeland Security Secretary to replace Alejandro Mayorkas. You have been so outspoken to protect children. You were pushing so hard, Senator Blackburn, I remember, for DNA testing at the border, so kids coming across with potential, cartel members. Democrats shot that down. What do you think of her as a pick for this role?
She is a superb pick. I served in the House with Kristi, and we were in a Bible study group together on Wednesday mornings. She has been a governor who has really worked to secure a place for her state when it came to addressing COVID, when it came to addressing jobs growth, economic growth. She is tough. And I think that we need somebody like Kristi Noem over at the Department of Homeland Security who can whip them into shape and make certain that they are protecting our border, that they are protecting the American people, who will focus on finding these over 300,000 alien migrant children that DHS and HHS cannot find. And it's astounding that they have not made that a priority. So Kristi Noem will be an excellent choice. And I really appreciate the fact that whether it is Michael Waltz at National Security or Lee Zeldin at EPA or Kristi at Homeland Security, President Trump is making wise choices. And these nominees all know and understand Capitol Hill.
Yes.
They have worked with members of the House and Senate. And just as with the Senate leader, what we need is the House and Senate working together to get President Trump's agenda across the finish line, because his agenda is what the American people overwhelmingly voted for. We have a mandate. We need to get to work quickly. We need to get these appointees confirmed.
In our final seconds here, we had Mike Davis on of Article 3, and he's urging, you might be busy because he's telling folks, call your senators, because the Biden administration wants to push through all these judges. And we've seen what can happen when you have judges that are activists, like Juan Merchan and others, and goes all the way up to the top. So he's saying that the Senate really needs to grind any of this because Biden's out. This is the lame duck presidency, and they're going to try to push through some of their judicial picks. Your final thoughts there in our last 20 seconds, Senator Blackburn. It is really the will of the American people that Donald Trump is looking out for.
Yes, it is. And these activist judges, people who have never been a judge, that now want to sit on the federal bench or the appellate court, Bianca, we are going to do everything we can do to block them and to keep them from being seated on the federal bench. And we do that by continuing to question, by placing holds. But there are individuals that are not qualified to sit on the federal bench. As you said, they are activists, and they have shown in their hearings before us at Judiciary Committee that they are an activist.
Well, it's refreshing. We know there's a lot of change coming to Washington, and it's overdue. Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn, thank you so much. We'll see if it ends up going with Vivek Ramaswamy and Laura Trump, two names that you're floating right here for potential Senate. Thank you so much. Great to see you. Please come back and visit us soon.
Mm-hmm.